Il-Lavelle. Isang pangalan na kinikilala sa buong bansa, hotels, malls, resorts, luxury brands. At sa likod ng imperyong iyon, si Melissa de Lavelle, ang nag-iisang tagapagmana. Pero walang nakakaalam kung gaano niya kinamumuhian ang pagiging heir. And so, she made a decision.
Dad, let me live on my own terms. Just for a while.
Anya sa ama na si Don Emilio.
Why, my princess?
I don't want to be introduced as a de Lavelle. I want to work, fail, learn, without anyone bowing to my last name.
One rainy night, habang naglalakad si Melissa pauwi mula sa isang gala event upang i-meet si Isaac, kahit na ayaw naman talaga niyang puntahan, ay sumunod pa rin siya sa kasunduan. Tatlong lalaki ang biglang sumulpot mula sa dilim.
Akina ang bakmont.
Sabi ng isa habang kinikiskis ang kutsilyo. Bago pa siya makasigaw, isang lalaki ang mabilis na dumating at sinapak ang isa sa mga holdaper. In a flash, he fought them off, strong and precise.
Are you okay?
Yes. Thank you. You saved me.
Next time, don't walk alone like that.
He said, handing her his jacket. And he walked away. From boardrooms to back streets. From penthouses to plain apartments. Sa unang pagkakataon, natikman ni Melissa de Lavelle ang buhay na malayo sa yaman, sa spotlight, sa security escorts. She moved into a small but cozy studio apartment in Quezon City. Walang helpers, walang driver, walang naghihintay na alalay. She cooked her own meals, minsan sunog. Nagsa-shopping siya sa palengke, naglalaban ng sarili, at gumigising sa alarm clock na madalas niyang isnooze. She lived under a new name. Mel Santiago. Isang linggo pa lang, sinampal na agad siya ng realidad, late sa Enry. Nawalan ng signal ang prepaid line. At na-snatch pa ang cellphone. Pero imbes na magreklamo, she wrote in her journal.
I finally feel real. I finally feel alive.
Nag-apply siya sa ilang trabaho, call centers. Data encoder. Cashier, pero walang tumatanggap. Walang experience. Walang background. Isang araw habang naglalakad pa uwi galing sa failed job interview, nakita niya ang isang bulletin board. No hiring secretary, Trivion Innovations. Isang startup company. Pagpasok niya sa opisina ng Trivion, simpleng co-working space lang ito. Walang glass walls o chandelier. May mga team na naglalakad, may coder na natutulog sa beanbag. Sa reception, pinatawag siya sa loob. At doon niya muling nakita ang lalaking minsan na niyang nakasalubong sa madilim na gabi. The same man who saved her from the hold-up. Ngayon, CEO, na pala ito ng sarili nitong tech company.
I remember you. You're the girl I help, right?
Yes. Mel Santiago. Salamat nga pala ulit.
Small world. You're applying as secretary?
Yes.
Well, good luck.
Sa dami ng aplikante, siya ang natanggap. Bilib si Clark sa talino niya, sa pagiging organized, sa pagiging tahimik pero epektibo.
Congrats, Mel. You're hired.
Sabi ni Clark, nakangiti habang inaabot ang kamay. She smiled back.
Thank you, sir. You won't regret it.
Don't call me sir. Clark is fine.
At Trivion, walang may alam kung sino si Melissa talaga. Nagko-commute siya. Nagbabudget. Kumakain ng street food. She learned to blend in. She learned to be invisible. Sa araw-araw na kasama niya si Clark, mas lalo niyang nakikilala ito. Hindi ito yung tipikal na CEO. Nasanay sa ginhawa. Hindi ito lumaki sa yaman. Wala itong kilalang apelyido na nagpapabukas ng pinto. Pinaghirapan ni Clark ang lahat. Nagsimula siya bilang freelance programmer habang nasa kolehiyo. Nag-aaral sa umaga, nagtatrabaho sa gabi. Nakakode sa lumang laptop na halos hindi na gumagana. Wala siyang opisina noon, ang bahay nila, isang maliit na apartment sa Caloocan, ang naging headquarters niya. Kwento pa niya minsan habang sabay silang nagkakape sa pantry.
When I was 22, I pitched Trivion to 4 different investors. They all said the same thing. Too small. Too risky. Too young.
Did it discourage you?
Of course it did. I almost gave up. But then I thought, if no one believes in me, then I have to believe in myself louder.
Sa loob ng 3 taon, ginapang ni Clark ang kumpanya. Minsan, siya na ang CIO. Siya pa ang janitor. Wala silang budget para sa VR. Kaya siya rin ang nag-interview. Siya ang tumakbo sa BAR. Siya ang nag-ayos ng permits. Siya ang nagtrabaho habang may lagnat. Siya ang nag-coding kahit may utang sa kuryente. Lahat ng iyon, nakita ni Melissa sa kilos ni Clark, hindi dahil ipinagyayabang niya, kundi dahil nakaukit na ito sa bawat galaw ng lalaki. Isang gabi, matapos ang isang mahabang araw ng presentation at stress sa investors, nakita niya si Clark sa opisina, mag-isa, nakasandal sa swivel chair, nakapikit, hawak ang sentido.
You need sleep.
I need results.
You're doing your best.
Am I? Sometimes I wonder if I'm just pretending I know what I'm doing.
You built all of this from nothing. You're not pretending. You're surviving.
That's why I trust you. You see through all the noise.
Bumilis ang tibok ng puso ni Melissa sa hindi malamang dahilan. Kinabukasan, "Hey, Mel, bring the contracts to the boardroom. Clark wants to review them before lunch."
On it.
It was Paolo from legal. She had been working at Trivian for almost 4 months, and everything was finally falling into rhythm. Until that day. Pagbukas niya ng pinto ng boardroom, napatigil si Melissa. May babaeng naka-yellow fitted dress na nakaupo sa mesa, naka-cross legs, confident, chic, and familiar looking. Her long, wavy hair framed her face perfectly, and her smile, sharp like a knife, was aimed directly at Clark.
And this must be the famous secretary I've heard so much about.
Mel, this is Zia. Fia Santiago.
Santiago?
Don't worry, not related. Clark and I are best friends since diapers. Basically family.
Nice to meet you.
Zia just got back from Singapore. She'll be helping out with branding. She has a strong marketing background.
Helping out?
Melissa forced a polite smile, but deep inside, something twisted. Simula noon, naging visible si Zia everywhere. She showed up at Trivian almost daily. Bringing coffee for Clark. Giving unsolicited input during meetings. Laughing loudly in the break room like she owned it. And Clark? He didn't mind. In fact, he looked comfortable. One afternoon, habang papunta sa conference room si Melissa, biglang sumalubong sa kanya si Zia sa hallway.
Oh, Mel, quick question.
Yes?
How long have you been working here again?
About 4 months.
So you've known Clark for, what, 5 months total?
Why?
I've known him for 25 years. Just in case you're planning to get too comfortable.
I don't mix work with personal feelings.
Good. Keep it that way.
Kinabukasan, sa isang team dinner, walang pakundangan si Zia na umupo sa tabi ni Clark. Para bang may invisible na pader sa paligid nila na ayaw nitong papasukin si Melissa. Habang nagtatawanan ang lahat sa mesa, sumandal si Zia, mumunguya ng salad, at biglang tumagilid para bulungan siya.
Just so we're clear, Clark might be yours in the office, but he's mine everywhere else.
Napakuyom ang kamao ni Melissa sa ilalim ng mesa.
You really like playing games, don't you?
Sweetheart, this isn't a game. This is my territory. You're the assistant. You assist. I belong.
Sa gilid ng paningin ni Clark, napansin niya ang paninigas ng panga ni Melissa, ang paraan ng paghawak nito sa kubyertos na parang pinipigilan ang sarili. Hindi niya alam kung bakit, pero biglang lumamig ang mood niya kahit nagtatawanan pa ang iba.
Melissa.
Tawag niya, mababa ang tono, halos hindi marinig ng iba. Napalingon si Melissa, nagtagpo ang kanilang mga mata. At sa ilang segundong iyon, parang tumigil ang ingay sa paligid, hanggang sa mabilis na binawi ni Melissa ang tingin, pilit mumiti.
I'll be back.
Sabi ni Melissa sa kanya, mahina pero matigas, bago tumayo mula sa mesa. Hindi niya alam kung bakit niya sinundan ng tingin ang bawat hakbang nito papunta sa restroom. Pero alam niyang hindi iyon simpleng curiosity lang. Parang biglang lumiit ang mundo niya. Hindi siya dapat maapektuhan. Si Clark ay boss niya, walang iba. Wala siyang karapatang mag-react o masaktan. At lalo na't hindi niya dapat tanungin kung bakit may kirot ang dibdib niya sa bawat salitang binibitawan ni Zia. Pilit niyang kinukumbinsi ang sarili na wala itong ibig sabihin. Pero ang totoo, hindi na siya sigurado. Mula sa mesa, hindi napigilan ni Clark na lingunin si Melissa habang papalayo. May parte sa kanya na gustong sundan ito, hawakan sa braso, at tanungin kung ayos lang siya. Pero pinigilan niya ang sarili. Hindi iyon dapat. Pero sa bawat araw na magkasama sila, ramdam niya, unti-unti siyang nahuhulog. At mas kinatatakutan niya yon kaysa sa kahit anong negosyo o panganib na hinarap niya noon. The Trivian team had finally hit their first major milestone. 20 million pesos from 2 angel investors. A dream Clark had been chasing for years. So naturally, everyone wanted to celebrate. It was held at a rooftop bar in Makati, neon lights, loud music, free-flowing drinks. Clark, who usually left early during company dinners, actually stayed this time. And drank a lot. Cheers to the man of the hour. Cheers! Melissa stood silently in a corner, watching Clark laugh with his team. He looked happy. Alive. And then came Zia, in a sleek black dress, sliding herself next to him.
I'm proud of you.
Thanks. We all worked hard.
No. You worked the hardest.
Then she kissed him on the cheek, slow, lingering. Too long to be friendly. Melissa looked away and downed the rest of her wine. Later that night. Almost midnight. Umiikot na ang paningin ni Clark habang naglalakad palabas ng bar. Melissa caught up to him outside, trying to keep him steady.
Clark, slow down. You're drunk.
Where's the car?
I'll call a cab.
No. Stay with me, just a little more.
Clark,
I'm sorry for being distant lately. For letting Zia.
don't. You don't owe me anything.
But I trust you, Mel. That means something.
It was raining lightly. The city lights blurred through the mist. Melissa didn't know if it was the wine or the words or the look in his eyes, but something in her gave in. They ended up in a nearby boutique hotel. Melissa was only supposed to help him settle in. But when he stumbled, half asleep, she guided him to the bed. He pulled her with him. And instead of resisting, she stayed.
I see you. Not like Zia. Not like anyone else.
You're drunk.
So are you.
They were both wrong. Both broken. Both itching for something they couldn't name. And that night, they crossed a line neither of them could undo. Masakit ang ulo at ang katawan ng magising si Melissa. Agad din siyang napasinghap nang makita niyang gising na at nakatingin sa kanya si Clark, kaya dali-dali siyang bumangon, bit-bit ang kumot na siyang pinangbalot niya sa hubad niyang katawan. Pareho nilang alam ang nangyari kagabi. Mas lalong bumilis ang tibok ng puso ni Melissa nang maramdaman niyang nakasunod ang tingin ni Clark habang papalayo siya mula sa kama. Ramdam niya ang init ng kanyang pisngi, hindi lang dahil sa hiya, kundi sa bigat ng sitwasyon nilang dalawa.
Mel, we need to talk.
There's nothing to talk about, Clark. It happened. Let's just forget it.
No. You can pretend nothing happened. But I can't. I won't.
Kinuha ni Clark ang isang maliit na kahon sa coat niya. Lumapit siya kay Melissa na nakaupo na rin sa gilid ng kama. Napatingin si Melissa sa kahon, isang diamond ring, simple ngunit elegante. Napakurap siya, parang hindi makapaniwala.
I know this might sound crazy, but I want to marry you.
What?
I'm serious. I know what we did last night, and I want to do the right thing. I'll take responsibility. I'll protect you.
Huminga ng malalim si Melissa. Tumayo siya, lumayo kay Clark at humarap sa salamin ng hotel suite.
Clark, it was just sex. That's all.
You're kidding, right?
No. I mean, it was a mistake. We were both vulnerable and caught in the moment. Let's not make it a bigger deal than it is.
So that's it. Just a mistake to you.
Yes. We barely know each other. There's no love here, Clark. And I'm not about to say yes to a proposal born from guilt or obligation.
Natahimik si Clark. Kita sa mga mata niya ang pagkabigo, hindi lang dahil sa pagtanggi, kundi dahil may parte sa kanya ang umaasang iba ang isasagot ni Melissa.
Alright. If that's what you want.
Ang mga sumunod na araw ay balot ng katahimikan at alanganin. Tuwing magtatagpo ang tingin ni na Melissa at Clark sa loob ng Trivion, agad silang lilihis ng tingin. Sa mga meeting, formal silang dalawa, parang walang nangyari. Isang hapon, tinawag ni Clark si Melissa sa opisina.
Prepare the campaign proposal and the investment brief. We're presenting to the De Lavelle Group this afternoon.
Utos nito, malamig pero profesional. Napakagatlabi si Melissa. The Lavelle Group. Hindi niya inaasahang babalik siya roon at lalo nang kasama si Clark.
Yes, sir.
Magkasama silang bumaba ng elevator sa De Lavelle headquarters. Hawak ni Melissa ang makapal na folder para sa presentation. Tahimik ang biyahe, mabigat ang hangin sa pagitan nila. Nang bumukas naman ang pinto sa 15 floor para sa isa pang pasahero, isang babaeng empleyado ng De Lavelle Group, naka-ID at may hawak na tablet. Pagpasok nito, nanlaki ang mga mata niya kay Melissa.
Ma'am Melissa. Ikaw ba yan?
Sorry. I think you've mistaken me for someone else. Common face lang siguro.
Nagkibit balikat ang empleyado pero halata ang pag-aalinlangan bago ito lumabas sa 20 floor. Pagkaalis ng babae, lumingon si Clark.
She seemed convinced she knew you.
Probably saw me somewhere before. I attended a few corporate events in the past, when I was job hunting. Maybe she just remembered my face.
Right. Makes sense.
Pagdating nila sa 27th floor, sinalubong sila ng executive assistant ng The Lavelle Group at dinala sa isang maluwang na boardroom na may floor-to-ceiling windows. The walls gleamed with framed photographs of past milestones, luxury resorts, grand mall openings, charity galas.
Mr. Velasquez, we've reviewed your initial proposal and we're interested to hear more.
Thank you. This project could bring significant digital innovation to your luxury brands. Allow me to present the details.
Melissa silently placed the neatly organized folders in front of each attendee. Pero nang maglapit siya ng isa sa dulo ng mesa, napatigil ang isang babaeng executive. Nanlaki ang mata nito.
Melissa. De Lavelle?
Oh, sorry, you must be mistaken. Mel Santiago pa, secretary at Trivian.
Clark glanced at her briefly while clicking to the next slide of the presentation. His expression was unreadable. Habang tuloy-tuloy ang discussion, ramdam ni Melissa ang pawis sa palad niya. Bawat segundo sa kwartong iyon ay parang may panganib, isang maling kilos, isang maling salita, at puputok ang lihim na pinakaiingatan niya. When the meeting ended, Clark shook hands with the De Lavelle executives.
We'll be in touch regarding the next steps.
Sa labas ng boardroom, habang naglalakad sila papunta sa elevator, nagsalita si Clark, mababa ang tono.
That's the second time today someone thought they knew you.
I told you common face.
Clark didn't respond, but his jaw tightened slightly as they stepped into the elevator. Pagbalik nila sa Trivian office, dumiretso si Clark sa sariling opisina, dala ang mga notes mula sa meeting. Melissa, on the other hand, headed straight to her desk, but her hands were still trembling. The moment she was sure no one was watching, she slipped her phone from her bag and walked quickly to an empty conference room. Sinara niya ang pinto, huminga ng malalim, at dinial ang isang numero na hindi niya inaasahan na tatawagan muli ngayong linggo.
Melissa, my princess.
Sagot ng isang pamilyar at mabigat na boses, si Don Emilio, ang ama niya.
Dad, I need you to tell all our employees, and everyone who knows me, to keep my identity hidden. No one in Trivian or anywhere near Clark should know I'm a De Lavelle.
I'll handle it.
Please, Dad, if Clark finds out now, everything I've been trying to do here will fall apart.
Bumalik sa isip niya ang lahat kung bakit niya tinatago ang buong pagkatao niya. Bago pa man siya magdesisyong mamuhay bilang isang normal girl, nagsimula ang lahat sa isang simpleng hapunan sa mansyon nila.
Melissa, when are you going to have a boyfriend? 24 ka na, anak.
Your mother's right. At this rate, baka mag-asawa na yung mga anak ng mga kaibigan ko bago ka pa magka-love life.
I'm busy, Dad. I don't have time to date.
Not even one of those young men who keep sending flowers to the house? They're all handsome, well-educated, from good families.
Not interested.
Sagot niya, tinapos ang wine sa isang higop. Not in them, anyway, bulong niya sa isip. At doon, habang patuloy ang usapan ng kanyang mga magulang tungkol sa mga posibleng ideal partners para sa kanya, isang pangalan ang biglang lumutang sa isip niya, ang first love na minsang nagpabilis ng tibok ng puso niya. Ilang araw matapos ang hapunang iyon, ipinahanap niya sa isa sa mga private investigator ng pamilya ang lalaking iyon. Clark Velasquez, CEO ng Trivian Innovations. Napangiti siya. Gusto lang niyang malaman kung nasaan na ang lalaking minsang naging espesyal para sa kanya noong college. Naalala niya kung paano nila unang nakita ang isa't isa sa isang university event kung saan si Clark ay isa sa mga representatives ng Manila International Inc. Para sa programming competition. Naalala niya ang eksenang ilang rich girls ang lumapit kay Clark, nakangiti at halatang sanay makuha ang gusto nila. Pero tinanggihan silang lahat ng binata. At nang hindi niya sinasadyang marinig ang sinabi nito sa isang kaibigan, parang itinatak sa isip niya, I hate spoiled rich brats. Doon nagsimula ang desisyon niya. Kung lalapit siya kay Clark, hindi siya pwedeng makita bilang isa sa mga babaeng iyon. Kaya tinago niya ang pagiging isang De Lavelle. Mas mabuti nang makilala siya bilang Mel Santiago, isang simpleng sekretary, kaysa mawala ang respeto ng lalaking una niyang minahal.
Melissa, I still don't understand why you chose this path. But we have a deal. Isaac wants to know you more, so he scheduled a date this weekend.
Okay, Dad, just send me the details about the date. Thank you.
Naalala ni Melissa ang first date nila ni Isaac. Isang maaliwalas na hapon sa isang mamahaling rooftop restaurant sa Yesi. Malalawak ang salaming bintana, kita ang skyline, at may live jazz music sa background. Melissa arrived exactly on time. Simple lang ang suot, white blouse at black slacks, walang kahit anong mamahaling alahas. Samantalang si Isaac naka-tailored navy suit na halatang galing pa sa meeting, pero may ngiting parang sanay sa laro.
Melissa. Finally. We meet again.
Hi, Isaac.
Umupo sila at agad nag-order si Isaac ng wine. Habang naghihintay, tuloy-tuloy ang kwento niya, tungkol sa business deals niya, sa mga biyahe sa Europe, at sa mga party kung saan kilala siya ng lahat.
You know, I've met a lot of beautiful women. But you're different.
Different how?
You're not trying to impress me. I like that. Most girls would kill to be here with me.
Well, I'm not most girls.
So, what exactly are you looking for, Mel?
Honestly, I'm not looking for anything. I'm only here because our families want us to meet. Let's just say I'm pretending that I'm seeing you.
Pretending, huh? I can work with that. Sometimes, pretend can turn real.
Not in this case. I'm not interested in a relationship, especially with someone who has a reputation like yours.
Playboy, you mean? People talk. But maybe you should see for yourself before judging me.
And maybe you should accept that some people just aren't interested, no matter how charming you think you are.
Instead of being offended, Isaac laughed.
Challenge accepted, princess.
Bumaba ang tingin ni Melissa sa wine na dumating sa mesa. Sa isip niya, malinaw na malinaw, she would keep her distance. Pero sa ngiti ni Isaac, parang alam niyang hindi pa tapos ang laro. Pagkatapos nilang maghiwalay sa lobby ng restaurant, sumakay si Melissa sa sasakyan na ipinadala ng pamilya niya. Hindi na siya lumingon at simple lang ang paalam.
Good night.
Si Isaac ay nanatiling nakatayo sa valet area, nakangiti habang pinapanood siyang lumayo. Nang tuluyan nang mawala ang kotse ni Melissa sa kanto, kinuha niya ang cellphone at tinawagan ang isang numero.
Yeah, it's me. I just had dinner with her.
May mahinang sagot sa kabilang linya. Ngumisi siya.
She says she's not interested. She's just pretending this is a date. That's fine. I like a challenge. Besides, I have ways to make her stay close. Even if she thinks she doesn't want to.
Naglakad siya papunta sa kanyang sports car, saka muling nagsalita sa telepono.
Remember that thing we talked about? The photos from that charity gala 2 years ago, the one she doesn't want anyone to see? I want every copy.
Sumagot ang sa kabilang linya na siyang nagpangisi kay Isaac.
Good. If Melissa de Lavelle won't give me her attention willingly, I'll make sure she has no choice.
Mula nang mapansin ni Clark ang kakaibang kilos ni Mel sa De Lavelle presentation, hindi na siya mapakali. Mag-isa siya sa kanyang office na patingin sa laptop at nagsimulang iron ang program.
Mel Santiago, let's see who you really are.
Dating legend si Clark sa hacking competitions nung college, walang firewall na hindi niya nadadaanan noon. Pero ngayon iba to.
Encrypted twice? Layered security protocols? Who the hell protects a secretary's record like this? Whoever's behind this, they're good. Or rich. Or both.
Nagpuyat siya ng ilang gabi. Pero tuwing malapit na siyang makalusot, may auto-wipe security na nag-erase ng traces. Sa kabila ng katahimikan sa pagitan ni Clark at Melissa, may isang taong hindi matahimik. Si Zia. Something about Mel Santiago just didn't sit right with her. She had always trusted her instincts, and this one screamed, she's hiding something. Kaya habang abala ang lahat sa bagong project proposal ng Trivion, nagsimula na siyang kumilos. One afternoon, habang nasa pantry si Zia kasama ang isa sa mga junior IT staff, inilabas niya ang kanyang charm.
So, tell me. What do you know about Mel? Where did she came from? School? Background?
Di ko sure, ma'am. Parang walk-in lang siya dati. Clark interviewed her directly.
Really? No reference check? No background screening? Clark's getting too soft.
Basta mabilis siya mag-type saka organized. Yun lang yata hinanap ni Sir Clark.
Zia narrowed her eyes. Too clean. Too vague. Meanwhile in a private office somewhere in Makati.
Are you sure she's inside Trivian?
Yes. Melissa de Lavelle is going by the name Mel Santiago. I traced her application through an old employment ID she used temporarily. Only the DA Lavelle lawyers could have erased her records that clean.
Sagot ng private investigator na kaibigan ni Isaac habang hawak ang isang confidential printout.
Well done.
Are you going in?
I already did. I submitted my application 2 weeks ago. I start Monday.
2 days later. Melissa was scanning invoices on her screen when Paolo from legal knocked lightly on her desk.
Hey Mel, may Bago Teong hire. Clark wants you to brief him on some internal processes.
Sure. Sino?
Isaac Ledesma.
Can you repeat that?
Isaac. He's coming in as senior strategic advisor. Everyone knows he's from one of the most powerful families in finance. Honestly, I was surprised Clark agreed to bring him in. Pero Sabi and I Clark, Kate Galing SA Malaking Empire SI Isaac. He wants to learn the ropes from a startup environment.
Where is he?
As if on cue, the glass door slid open. Isaac walked in, sharp charcoal suit, watch worth more than year's salary, calm eyes locked on her, and that signature half smile. The entire office seemed to notice. Conversation slowed. Even Clark glanced up from his desk.
Paolo, excuse us.
Hinila niya si Isaac papunta sa bakanteng conference room. Pagkasara ng pinto, hindi na nakapagtimpi si Melissa.
What the hell are you doing here?
Starting my first day. Shouldn't you be welcoming me, Mel?
Don't call me that.
Relax. I told you, I'm here to learn. But you and I both know that's not the only reason I'm here.
Cut the act, Isaac. You're here for me.
You didn't think I'd find you, did you? Hiding behind a fake name, playing secretary in some startup. Not very de la Velle of you.
If you say anything,
Then your perfect little secret is out. One word from me, and the whole country will know who you really are.
what do you want?
In 1 month. Then you say yes to my proposal. Publicly. As my girlfriend.
You're insane.
Maybe, but you and I both know. I always get what I want.
Paglabas niya, naiwan si Melissa sa conference room, naglalamig ang mga kamay, pero nag-aalab ang takot at galit sa dibdib. Sa labas ng conference room. Mula sa kanyang mesa, napansin agad ni Clark ang mabilis na kilos ni Melissa, biglang tumayo, diretsyo kay Isaac, at walang pasabing hinila ito papunta sa conference room. Hindi iyon tipikal na kilos para sa isang bagong hire, lalo na't senior strategic advisor pa. Through the glass, he could see their body language clearly. Melissa was tense, shoulders squared, habang si Isaac ay nakasandal sa mesa, relaxed at may kumpiyansang ngiti na parang siya ang may kontrol sa usapan. It wasn't orientation. It was confrontation. Dumaan si Paolo at mahina ang sabi.
They look like they know each other.
Clark stayed silent, eyes locked on the scene. Wala man siyang marinig pero halata sa mukha ni Melissa ang halong galit at kaba. May isang sandali na bahagyang yumuko si Isaac, at sa reaksyon ni Melissa, alam niyang hindi iyon magandang sinabi. A few minutes later, Isaac stepped out and Isaac gave a polite nod, too polite, before walking away like he owned the place. Melissa came out right after, head down, avoiding Clark's gaze completely. Clark leaned back, fingers tapping against the armrest. Something wasn't right. And kung tama ang kutob niya, Melissa Santiago wasn't telling him everything. Elsewhere in an upscale cafe in Green Hills.
You found nothing?
I already told you there are no birth records, school records, or even barangay clearance for anyone named Mel Santiago from any province. Either that woman doesn't exist, or she's someone pretending to be nobody.
Damn it.
She picked up her phone and dialed a contact she hadn't called in years.
Hello. Tita Lorda, it's me, Zia. Clark's best friend.
Zia. It's been years.
How are you? I'm good, Tita. Actually, I was hoping to see you. There's something about one of Clark's employees I thought you should know.
That Sunday, Lourdes Velasquez home, Marikina Heights. Maaliwalas at masarap ang hangin sa bakuran ng bahay. Isang traditional Filipino home, simple, warm, and well-maintained. Lourdes, Clark's mother, looked like a kind but sharp woman. Hawak niya ang isang baso ng salabat habang nakikinig sa kwento ni Zia.
I know you love your son, Tita. That's why I came. Because I think someone's lying to him.
Go on.
She calls herself Mel Santiago. But she has no past. No family. No records. Doesn't that sound dangerous to you?
I trust Elvison's instincts.
I do too. But Clark can be emotional. Especially when someone gives him that damaged but kind act.
Sa sumunod na linggo, habang nasa opisina si Melissa, hindi niya inaasahan ang isang bisita.
Miss Mel may naghahanap pa sa inyo.
Paglabas niya sa lounge, nandoon si Lourdes Velasquez. Elegant in her age, sharp eyes, calm smile.
Are you Mel Santiago?
Yes, how may I help you?
Let's take you walk.
The cafe near the office. Tahimik ang simula ng pag-uusap. Melissa tried to smile politely, but there was something in Lourdes' gaze that made her feel like she was being dissected.
I've heard a lot about you. Mel Santiago. Secretary. Mysterious. Efficient. Always quiet.
I just try to do my job well, ma'am.
I'm sure you do. But let's not pretend that's the only reason why. You've gotten so close to Imbuson. You think I haven't seen girls like you before. No family background. No last name that matters. Just enough charm and timing to be in the right place when a man like Dinvison needs comfort.
Ma'am, I respect Clark. I would never.
You work for him. That should be enough. But now I hear whispers. Late night calls. You being seen living together. Do you think I raised Dinvison for this?
Whatever happened between us is none of your business.
When it concerns Invison's future, it is your business. Stay away from Clark. Before I make sure you regret it.